Hey, future unnaturalists, I'm Emily.
And I'm Andy.
And we are the hosts of Unnatural, a true crime podcast.
Each week, we'll dive into some of the most unnerving crimes that this unnatural world has to offer.
Listen for Unnatural on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, make good choices.
And don't get got.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Didi West.
And I'm Summer.
And this is Broken Limelight. So, real quick, did you guys hear the end of the last episode where Summer said something about, like, this is reminding me of R. Kelly? And for some reason I went, oh, before moving on and talking. So, who else heard that? And their brain went, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? I re-listened to it, and I was just like, why the fuck did I do it like that? Okay, so this is part 2 of the Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton story. So let's try to recap where we left off. So this was about November 1997. So at this point, Paula Jones's lawyers, remember Paula Jones is the one who filed a lawsuit against Bill Clinton for assaulting her in 1994. Her lawyers are now going after any possible witness or person who could have been involved with Bill Clinton in like a sexual relationship.
Right.
Where we left off in the last episode, Linda had just been subpoenaed in the Paula Jones case, and she also named Monica as a potential witness, which meant Monica was about to get subpoenaed. So the president had been requested to provide a list of any women other than his wife with whom he had or proposed having or sought to have a sexual relationship with during the time that he was either Attorney General of Arkansas, Governor of Arkansas, or President of the United States. President Clinton objected to this, and he refused to answer this. So,
I mean, like, none ya, you know?
That's really funny that you said that, because he ended up, like, being ordered by the judge to respond, so he just wrote none. It's like, he, like, complied without complying, you know?
Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, no.
So, on December 5th, 97, the attorneys for the Paula Jones case identified Monica Lewinsky as a potential witness in the sexual harassment case. So, they faxed their witness list over to the president's attorney, whose name was Robert Bennett. But Monica didn't actually learn that she was involved in the case for another 12 days when the president told her.
Oh. So she found out by Bill Clinton that she was in the case.
Yeah. So that was December 5th. So then on December 15th, Paula Jones's lawyers served the president with a second set of documents that, a second set of document requests, and they requested it by overnight mail. And these requests asked the president to produce documents that related to communications between him and Monica Lewinsky. This was actually the very first discovery in the Paula Jones case that referred to Monica Lewinsky by name.
Oh.
And then a couple days later, on December 17th, the president called up Monica in the middle of the night, and that was when he finally told her that she was on the witness list and she might have to testify under oath in the Paula Jones case.
And Monica said?
According to Monica, the president said it broke his heart to see her name on the witness list. He told her that she wouldn't necessarily be subpoenaed, but if she were, he suggested that she sign an affidavit to try to satisfy Paula's lawyers and not be deposed. He also told her that if she was subpoenaed, to say that she only came to the White House to see Betty. On December 28th, Monica met with Bill Clinton in the adjoining study to the Oval Office, where she gave him several Christmas gifts. They kissed a little bit, but then later that day, Betty, the secretary, drove to Monica's apartment, and she collected a box that contained some of the gifts that were included in this. They were named in the subpoena. So Betty took the box home and hid it under her bed.
Betty is a Ride or die.
Ballsy Betty.
Yeah, ballsy Betty.
Yeah, really is a ride or die.
Betty's like, that's gonna cost you extra, Mr. Clinton.
Betty's bad.
Bad Betty.
Among the items that Monica was required to produce were each and every gift, including but not limited to any and all dresses, accessories, and jewelry and or hat pins given to you by or on behalf of defendant Clinton, as well as every document constituting or containing communications between you and defendant Clinton, including letters, cards, notes, memoranda, and all telephone records. It was around this time that Monica realized that she needed to come up with some kind of plan of what to do in case Linda Tripp ended up divulging all the information that she knew about the affair.
Well, clearly, honey, she already has.
It's so funny that she hasn't realized it at this point.
It's like, who do you think is telling them that you have hat pins and dresses and accessories from the president?
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what she thought was happening.
I guess it just kind of shows how, like, young and naive she is.
Yeah, exactly. She was really trusting. So, in January, about a month later, Monica filed an affidavit denying ever having had a sexual relationship with President Clinton. She told Linda, I'm not concerned all that much anymore because I'm not going to get in trouble. Because you know what? The story I've signed under oath is what someone else is saying under oath. When Linda asked who, Monica responded, he will, referring to the president. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically she's saying, I'm lying under oath, but someone else is too, and then...
Yeah, they're going to corroborate it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
but then
how I
you're telling Linda, the fucking flappy mouth bitch, that...
I know! And I can't believe... Never mind.
I know. There's two sides to this, and I'm sorry, Hilary Clinton, that your husband cheated on you. I'm very sorry. Go on.
Remind me to say something about that later, about Hilary, because I don't want to forget.
Right.
To say something.
Well, because this is focused on Monica and how she came up and how she's having this relationship with a man who is legally probably not allowed to get a divorce. So in her mind, he wants to be with her. I mean, he might be able to. I don't know laws about presidency and divorces and stuff. But I mean, yeah, we understand that Hilary is his wife. And we don't condone like cheating and things like that. But it's not. This isn't a story about Hilary Clinton. So
yeah. Yeah, and I feel like we can say something about Hilary, but it's very much like a side note.
Right.
Like, if anything, you know, if we want to say anything bad about Monica, what we can call her is a homewrecker, maybe. But that's about it, you know?
Yeah.
I can't really think of any other reason to
We've all been young and in love with someone who probably wasn't great for us. And this is no different. It's just on a way higher scale.
I mean, it was like a celebrity she had a crush on, you know?
Yep.
Monica actually told Linda that she didn't think the president was going to slip up at his deposition because Monica was not a big issue like Jennifer Flowers and Paula Jones. Jennifer Flowers was another woman who had some kind of relationship with the president, and I'll tell you a bit about that after this story. But it was around the same time period, and it was pretty well known. But either way, Monica kind of regarded herself in comparison to the others. She kind of thought of herself as just like a rumor. She didn't think it was going to be as serious as all the other ones. Which is funny now, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's all you hear about. You don't think about...
I literally had to tell you who Jennifer Flowers was. And she's like, oh, I'm not a big deal like Jennifer Flowers.
No.
Who?
Except this is like 30 years later. And...
I know. Who's Jennifer Flowers? Okay, so on Saturday, January 17th, 1998, President Bill Clinton testified under oath at a deposition in the Jones case. Judge Susan Weber Wright traveled from Little Rock, Arkansas to preside at the deposition in Washington, D.C. Judge Wright accepted, I'm sorry, this is kind of an important detail. So Judge Wright accepted the following definition of the term sexual relations. For the purpose of this deposition, a person engages in sexual relations when the person knowingly engages in or causes contact with the genitalia, anus, groin, breast, inner thigh, or buttocks of any person with an intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of any person. Contact means intentional touching, either directly or through clothing. Over the course of the extensive questioning, the president testified that he had seen Monica Lewinsky on 2 or 3 occasions during the government shutdown in the fall of 1995, including one occasion when she brought pizza to him and 1 or 2 other occasions when she delivered documents to him. He could not recall whether he had been alone with Monica on such occasions, although he acknowledged that it was possible. The president further testified that he could not remember the subject of any conversations with Miss Lewinsky. I heard that he actually was like, I don't remember her. I remember her sitting back there with a pizza one time. It's like, dude.
He's like, yeah.
I saw her sitting back there with a pizza. Like, what a dick, dude.
He's like, I remember the girl with the pizza.
I know! This poor girl with the fucking weight.
He's like, and only because I love pepperoni.
On January 18th, Betty and the president had a meeting that took place at her desk outside of the Oval Office. According to Betty, the president appeared concerned, and he told Betty, so I had my deposition yesterday, and they asked me questions about Monica Lewinsky. There are a few things that you may want to know. So then he started making a series of statements. He was like, so you were always there when she was there, right? And then he was like, we were never really alone, right? Monica came on to me, but I never touched her, right? You can see and hear everything that goes on here, right? So Betty testified that based on the president's demeanor and the way he was making these statements, the president clearly wanted her to agree with them. So Betty did agree. In fact, when he was like, you were always there when she was there, right? She was like, well, yeah. However, when she was before the grand jury, she acknowledged that there was a possibility that Monica could have visited the White House when she wasn't there. With respect to her comment about the president never being really alone with Monica Lewinsky, Betty testified that there were several occasions when the president and Monica were either in the Oval Office or in the study without anybody else present. But Betty explained that she didn't consider him to be alone on these occasions because she was at her desk right outside of the Oval Office. So according to her, they were all like in the same general area. So she wasn't really lying when she said that. She testified that for all intents and purposes, the president is never truly alone. There's always somebody around him. During this meeting, he also told Betty, Monica wanted to have sex with me, but I told her I couldn't do that.
So he's like throwing her under the bus.
He's basically telling her, like, you don't know shit. You know? He's like, you didn't see anything. Like, nothing could have possibly gone on behind your back, you know?
But him being like, yeah, she wanted to have sex with me. Like, he's
throwing Monica under the bus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's basically trying to make her seem like a fangirl, you know? Like, well, you can't blame me because girls like me, you know?
Right.
So, Linda Tripp is the shitty, like, best friend that works with Monica and has been recording their conversations since September, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Monica still doesn't know this, but that's... So anyway, Linda knew that Monica, when she filed the affidavit in January, like, she basically was making a false statement saying that she didn't have an affair with the president. So Linda knew that this was a false statement. So on January 12th, she contacted Ken Starr's office, which, remember, Ken Starr is the guy who was already investigating Bill Clinton. He was investigating Bill Clinton for Whitewater, and then he was kind of like getting interested in the Paula Jones case, and now Linda's hitting him up like, hey, this girl's been sleeping with him for like just short of 2 years. So she called him up and showed him the tapes. By this point, Ken was like really trying hard to get him impeached. So these tapes included conversations where Monica detailed her sexual relationship with the president, and she also indicated that Bill Clinton and his friend Vernon Jordan may have told her to lie under oath. And like Ken Starr was actually also looking into Vernon Jordan for some whole other thing. So he was looking at both of them and trying to catch them just like with anything. After talking to Linda, Ken Starr got permission to expand his investigation, which allowed him to formally investigate the possibility of perjury and obstruction of justice by Bill Clinton in the Paula Jones case. Linda then met up with Monica at the Ritz-Carlton while wearing a wire. And the FBI were actually like right outside, like in surrounding rooms, but Monica had no idea and didn't find out until afterwards.
Oh, wow.
On January 17th, 1998, Bill Clinton gave a sworn deposition as part of the Jones lawsuit, where he denied having a sexual relationship with Monica. A few days later, he addressed the nation in a now notorious public statement in which he stated, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky." So Monica's name blew the fuck up. Investigators were not only threatening to throw her in prison for perjury, but they also threatened to throw her mother in jail for knowing about the affair and keeping it a secret. Also, remember how she had gone to Vernon Jordan and he got her a job at Revlon because supposedly her name had been like blacklisted at the White House? So she was all excited she had like left her job at the White House, and Vernon Jordan, who's friends with the president and like an advisor, I think, he helped Monica like get all these interviews, and she got hired with like the Revlon Corporation in New York. Well, after this all happened and the president made that statement, Revlon took their job back. They recanted the job offer.
Oh no.
So over the next few months, Monica's life just fucking sucked. Like, her name was everywhere and everybody knew her face. She couldn't get away from this story. On April 1st, the court dismissed the Paula Jones lawsuit on the grounds that Paula failed to demonstrate any damages.
What?
I know. However, she appealed it, and while the dismissal was on appeal, Bill Clinton entered into an out-of-court settlement and agreed to pay Paula Jones $850,000.
$850,000?
Isn't that interesting? I think she was going for $750,000, so that was like a good enough win. Unfortunately, however, before Paula's lawsuit had been like wrapped up, her marriage fell apart. She had also she was so much in the public eye that and people made fun of her. It was so sad because nobody took her seriously because she was like small and kind of pretty, and she had braces and she had a really big nose. So she ended up getting a nose job because everybody was talking about her like she was just this dumb country girl from Arkansas with a big nose. So she got a nose job, which was paid for by a donor.
Oh.
And I'm going to post pictures of her on brokenlimelight.com. But it's crazy that it even became a subject of conversation to me. You know, it just goes to show how this whole thing in a time when women literally were just there for you to look at and use. And then things just kept getting harder for her. So in 1994, some semi-nude photographs of Paula that were taken by her ex-boyfriend were released by Penthouse.
Oh.
She tried to fight it, but she lost. So in 2000, she ended up voluntarily posing for more photos. What happened was, she didn't have a lot of money. She had a lot of debt from her lawsuit. So she ended up she couldn't get that picture out of the public eye. So she ended up voluntarily posing for different magazines and stuff. She later posed for photos illustrating an article called "The Perils of Paula Jones" in the December 2000 issue, citing the pressures of a large tax bill and 2 young sons to support. That sucks. They recreated this in the American Crime Story show, Impeachment. Monica revealed that she was on set when they recreated her infamous, Paula Jones's infamous penthouse shoot. And she said, "It was a very moving scene. As I was watching that episode, I realized at some point after 1998, all of us were offered millions to pose for Penthouse and Playboy. Because I came from an upper middle class family, I was able to say no. It was an eye-opening moment for me. Sometimes there are sex-positive decisions that are made, but that's not this. Someone was worried about paying the rent, so this was their only option." And that's really interesting because Monica was a very sex-positive person. And like she said, like she grew up in Beverly Hills with all these opportunities, like, and she was able to say no. And Paula Jones had to get a donated nose job and like pose for Penthouse just to pay the bills.
Right. And she was sexually assaulted versus Monica, who willingly.
Yeah, that's another good point. That's a really good point.
I mean, not to say that one's better than the other, but.
Yeah, but it says a lot, and maybe that's the thing, you know, how they say that like people seek out people, or predators seek out people with like vulnerabilities, and like who knows, maybe Monica carried herself with a lot of like confidence because of, you know, who she was and where she came from.
Right, exactly.
And
he thought he could just take advantage of Laura and be like, I'm here for you.
Paula.
Why did I say Laura?
I don't think she's anybody. Anyway.
All right.
On July 28th, 1998, Monica turned over the navy blue dress that had the president's semen on it. She turned it over to Kenneth Starr's investigators. So then a couple days later, on August 3rd, Bill Clinton is asked for a blood sample. The semen was compared to his blood sample, and it confirmed that the semen on the dress belonged to President Bill Clinton.
Okay, so what made Monica turn that in? Is she, like, pissed at this point?
Well, I think it was because they had threatened to put her mom in prison. I think I think she would have died with this information. She would have never told anybody if it weren't for that.
Right.
Like, her and her mom were both at risk of going to prison now because I'm pretty sure, like, she told her mom a lot, and it was in the recordings that her mom knew this. So, otherwise, I don't think she would have ever said anything. But at this point, they're like, you have to tell us everything. So, that's why the Starr report is so detailed. On August 17th, 1998, Bill Clinton became the first sitting president to testify before the Office of Independent Counsel as the subject of grand jury investigation. He admitted to having an inappropriate relationship with Monica Lewinsky, but said he never asked anyone to lie, hide, or destroy evidence or to take any unlawful action.
Lies.
During his grand jury testimony, the president was asked whether Monica Lewinsky performed oral sex on him, and if so, whether he had committed perjury in his civil deposition by denying a sexual relationship, sexual affair, or sexual relations with her. The president refused to say whether he had had oral sex. Instead, the president said that the undefined terms sexual affair, sexual relationship, and sexual relations necessarily require sexual intercourse, and also that he had not engaged in intercourse with Monica Lewinsky, and that he therefore had not committed perjury in denying having a sexual relationship, affair, or sexual relations. Okay, so let me clear that up. So remember when I said that the judge had accepted this like general definition of sexual contact?
Right.
Well, he was arguing that what he did with Monica does not fall into that category.
Oh.
So, and that's why every time they asked him, well, did you have oral sex? Did you do this? He would just be like, I did not have sexual contact, like, you know, like under the definition that I was asked. And then they would keep asking him, and he'd just be like, I refer to my previous statement. Like, remember, he was a lawyer, and like, from what I heard, he was a pretty good lawyer. I guess that depends on who you ask. But I always forget that, you know, that it's like, well, obviously there's a reason he like, the way he obviously argued his way out of this, you know? Have you ever heard the part where he says something like, it depends on what your definition of the word is. Have you heard that?
No.
Yeah, that's another Bill Clinton quote. And I had to really, like, Google it. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And basically, it's like, he was asked something like, is there a sexual relationship? And he's like, at the time, there was not.
Right.
He was like,
nope.
You know, is there? No.
No.
After the president made that comment about it depends on what the meaning of is, he was asked, do you mean today that because you were not engaging in sexual activity with Monica Lewinsky during the deposition, that the statement, that statement might be literally true? So he's like, so because you're not sleeping with her now? And he's like, no, sir. I mean that at the time of the deposition, that was well beyond any point of improper contact between me and Lewinsky. Does that make sense? Like, I just don't understand how they just accepted these words, you know?
Shit if I know. How you mentioned at the beginning, like, if you disassociate when, like, these technical things come out, yeah, that's me. Like, I'm just like, right off in the distance, I'm like, oh, what did I have for lunch yesterday?
Yeah. So on September 9th, 1998, Kenneth Starr delivered the Starr Report, which was basically his referral to Congress of what he thought should be done, and he cited 11 possible impeachable offenses. On October 8th, 98, the United States House of Representatives initiated the impeachment process, and on December 11th, 98, the House Judiciary Committee agreed to send 3 articles of impeachment for consideration. So, in order to convict on any of the charges and remove the president from office, a 2/3 vote would have been needed. So like 66-67%. So basically they ended up only voting for 2 of the charges, which were grand jury perjury and obstruction of justice. For the perjury charge, it was 45 votes for conviction and 55 against. And the obstruction of justice charge was 50 for conviction and 50 against. So like I said, in short, they would have needed a 2/3 vote in order to impeach the president and get him out of office. But they didn't. They had 50-50 for one. So unfortunately, they started the proceedings and everything and they voted to impeach and there just wasn't enough votes. So basically all his talking about the definition of is and sexual contact and all that, got him out of it.
So basically he was acquitted because they couldn't prove that he was actively having an affair with Monica.
Because remember, he was mostly being acquitted, or he was mostly...
If that was the case,
the articles of impeachment that they accepted was obstruction of justice and perjury. So everything else, all the sexual assault, because remember, they had dropped Paula Jones's case and everything. So they basically, he kept arguing that none of this is relevant. They basically were only able to go after him for the perjury. So he was like, well, if I didn't lie, so basically that was it. He was like, well, I didn't lie. And they ended up being like, they have to have, what's it called? Beyond a reasonable doubt. Basically, that was it. They're like, well, I don't know that he was lying based on his definitions, and I think that says a lot about lawyers just being a little bit smarter than us. And it's like, well, shit, I can't argue that one, Who define is he really fucking confused everybody with that. They're like, what do you mean? I've never been asked that before.
Right. And it's, I don't know, that's all crazy to me. How people can just maneuver their way out, even though you know that they did or that they were lying, but they're like, I wasn't lying. I was just lying really, really well.
Regarding the president's deposition, this is what the judge wrote. Simply put, the president's deposition testimony regarding whether he had ever been alone with Miss Lewinsky was intentionally false, and his statements regarding whether he had ever engaged in sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky likewise were intentionally false. On the day before leaving office on January 20th, 2001, Bill Clinton, in what amounted to a plea bargain, agreed to a 5-year suspension of his Arkansas law license and to pay a $25,000 fine as part of an agreement with independent counsel Robert Ray to end the investigation without the filing of any criminal charges for perjury or obstruction of justice. Bill Clinton was automatically suspended from the United States Supreme Court bar as a result of his law license suspension. However, as is customary, he was allowed 40 days to appeal the otherwise automatic disbarment. Clinton resigned from the Supreme Court bar during the 40-day appeals period. That was basically it. So he turned over, had to stop practicing law, and that was it. That was the end of Bill Clinton. Monica Lewinsky talked about this a lot after all this, because of course she couldn't escape her infamy, So people even asked her that she, why she didn't change her name or anything, and she just always felt like why should I have to, this wasn't me or my fault, I was just, being a 22-year-old with a crush. She, like I said, she had helped out a lot with the American Crime Story impeachment season. She confirmed that a lot of the moments, there's a part where Vernon Jordan's character, patted Monica on the butt, and Monica confirmed that really happened. Or, when Bill wore a tie that Monica gave him, he wore it to his grand jury testimony, and that actually happened. She also referenced, when she had to, tell her whole story, she had to listen to hours and hours of the recorded tapes, the tapes that were secretly recorded by Linda. And she said, listening to yourself on tape when you don't know you're being recorded was one of the lower moments for me in 1998.
Well, yeah, I mean, even us recording this podcast, there's certain things that we're all right, we're going to take out of there. Because, it's maybe something personal that we talked about, and the whole world is just going to hear it without her permission.
And she was talking to her best friend. I don't know about you, have you ever just, been an absolute wreck over a breakup and you just, you're so embarrassing, you could be, blubbering and, slobbering, crying and just saying,
anything.
The stupidest shit about
right.
how, you want to die because, just, you know what I mean? And she had that all recorded. So another person who was heavily scrutinized for their appearance was Linda Tripp. Like I said before, Linda Tripp seems to be a really unlikable person. And her stance was basically that everything she did was to take down the president and to protect others from him. So she basically was I didn't do anything wrong this whole time. She insisted that she constantly told Monica, you deserve better. You don't deserve this. So to her, she's I'm being a good friend, But everyone in America hated Linda Tripp, and they were calling her a backstabber and treacherous.
How come? Oh, sorry. I was looking at pictures of Linda Tripp, and she looks older in her 90s pictures than she does in the.
You know why?
Recent. Why?
She got plastic surgery.
Oh.
Because of all this. So Linda was 5'10", and she walked with a hunchback, and she ended up under a lot of scrutiny because she everybody hated her, but she was also ugly. So she ended up getting a nose job, a chin tuck, plastic surgery, and liposuction.
Oh.
Did you see the before and after? Look up a before and after.
That's what I did. But have you seen the Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, with John Goodman. With John Goodman and what is that girl's name? The one from Superstar? Oh, I can't remember her name.
Oh,
That's what it's called, right? Superstar? Oh, you have to watch. Okay, I'm gonna put that on the website too because it's fucking funny.
It just killed me, seeing that, because all I see is the thumbnail.
Funny. It's funny. Can you imagine just being a woman and John Goodman is playing you? Not even a pretty little guy, It's John. It's fucking Roseanne Barr's husband,
Exactly.
Dan Connor is fucking playing. Yeah, that was messed up. That is a burn.
Okay, but the funny thing is because I'm on Google Images, so I see him next to her, and I'm kind of okay, it works.
So remember I was telling you that they had Sarah Paulson play her, and I was like, it's incredible, the prosthetics, because she doesn't look like herself at all. I mean, Sarah Paulson, like, she looks a lot like Linda Tripp. But then in the show, they have Linda Tripp go through plastic surgery, and then it looks like Sarah Paulson.
That's so funny.
Yeah, because they give her, like, fake teeth and, like, a fake nose and, like, extra neck, and they, like, and padded shoulders and a bodysuit, which is, like, a whole other topic of conversation. There's a lot of, like, conversation about whether it's okay to wear fat suits or not, as opposed to just, like, hiring a fat person. But she just had, like, this extra padding, and honestly, she did an amazing job. So I don't know. I mean, that one's kind of art, but a whole nother conversation again. And she has stuff to say about that, too. But anyway, like I said, it's like she has this fake teeth and a fake nose and fake neck in the beginning, and then after her plastic surgery, it's like, oh, there's Sarah Paulson underneath all that.
Right. I'm looking at the picture of Paula Jones, and I see the before and after of her as well.
I'll post that one. Okay, so I do want to recap on some of the other cases of the other cases of sexual assault. So first of all, let's talk about Kathleen Willey. If you remember, Kathleen Willey was somebody who I mentioned in the last episode. She was like a coworker and friend or acquaintance of Linda Tripp's. So Kathleen Willey was the one who came forward with allegations against President Bill Clinton, but Linda and like 6 other people were like, no, that was definitely consensual. Kathleen went looking for a relationship or like an affair with him, or like a fling, like a hookup. And she came out of there like smiling and like her hair all messed up, but she looked like post-orgasm, you know? So.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kathleen Willey was granted immunity in this. Ken Starr and his team actually determined that she lied under oath repeatedly to his investigators, and they ended up concluding that there was insufficient evidence to continue pursuing her allegations against President Clinton. In 2007, though, she published a book called Target, Caught in the Crosshairs of Bill and Hillary Clinton, which was about her experiences with the Clintons in the White House. In July 2015, Kathleen Willey launched an anti-Clinton website called A Scandal a Day. An anti-Clinton website. Okay, so, like I said, these allegations of sexual assault against Bill Clinton were not the only ones. I wanted to avoid going into detail about these cases that didn't relate to Monica all that much, but I'm going to tell you now about a couple of other women who came forward with similar allegations in case you're still listening. One could say that there is a pattern of this alleged behavior of Bill Clinton's. So first, I had mentioned Jennifer Flowers. So Jennifer Flowers is an American author, singer, model, actress, and she was a former employee of the state of Arkansas. And she was also a TV journalist. So during Bill Clinton's 1992 presidential election campaign, Jennifer Flowers came forward to say that she had had a 12-year extramarital relationship with Bill Clinton, and that he had assisted her in securing a job as an admin assistant with the Arkansas Appeal Tribunal. The state of Arkansas had fired Flowers in early 92 for failing to show up to work. After Bill Clinton denied having a relationship with her on 60 Minutes, she held a press conference where she played tape recordings that she had secretly made of phone calls with Bill Clinton. I wonder if that's where Lucianne Goldberg got that idea.
Probably.
In January 1998, Bill Clinton had a deposition where he was denying Kathleen Willey's accusations against him. And during that deposition, he actually admitted that he had had a sexual encounter with Jennifer Flowers. However, he said that it was only one occasion in 1977. Again, she says that it was 12 years. As of 2007, Jennifer Flowers actually lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, interestingly, during this time, she was broadly supportive of the presidential campaign of Hilary Clinton, saying that she wanted to support her own gender. She also denied that she had any interest whatsoever in getting back out there and bashing Hillary Clinton. But then, in 2016, Flowers tweeted her support for the presidential campaign of Donald Trump. So I wonder what happened there, if it's irrelevant or not, if something happened there, or if she just decided to change her stance. It's interesting that she was supporting Hillary in the first place, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Huh.
So then there's another lady named Juanita Broderick, In 1999, she appeared in an episode of Dateline NBC, and she alleged that in the late 70s, she was a campaign volunteer for Bill Clinton. And she alleged that, I believe it was 1978, that Bill Clinton raped her in her hotel room.
Oh my God.
According to her, she agreed to meet with Bill Clinton for coffee in the lobby of her hotel, but then Bill Clinton asked if they could go to her room to avoid a crowd of reporters, so she agreed. Broderick stated that once Clinton had isolated her in her hotel room, he raped her. She said that he actually bit her lip during the assault and like making her bleed, which is pretty fucking traumatic, right?
What the hell?
However, Bill Clinton denied these allegations through his lawyer. Now, a lot of people didn't believe Juanita because in the beginning she actually denied having been raped by him. But she later said that she only denied being raped under oath to protect her privacy.
Because she was too ashamed to admit it?
Yeah, probably because, look at what happened to Monica, you know?
Oh, true.
Supporters of Clinton have also noted that Juanita continued to support him and appear at public events weeks after the alleged rape. And Juanita said that she couldn't remember exactly the day or the month of the alleged incident. So a lot of people, don't believe her.
I mean, that's a little fishy.
Yeah. She did state that in 1978, she revealed this alleged assault to 5 intimates. What does that mean? 5 close friends, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'd assume it's
intimates.
Close friends.
Yeah, people close to her, and that they all advised her not to cause trouble for herself by going public.
Okay, but this was in 1978, and when did all this come out?
1999, so it was right after the whole impeachment thing, because that was all 1998.
I mean, that is 21 years. So, I can see not remembering the month.
And this is just me trying to step into her shoes for a second. I would imagine that it's because nobody would believe her. But now that it's happening to other people, it's like, okay, maybe now somebody will believe me.
Right, exactly.
All right. I got another one.
Here we go.
In October 2016, a woman named Leslie Milwee accused Bill Clinton of sexually assaulting her 3 times in 1980. Milwee was then an employee at a now-defunct Arkansas-based television station, and Bill Clinton was then the governor of Arkansas. According to Leslie, Bill Clinton came up behind her on 3 different occasions and fondled her breasts. And on one of those occasions, he rubbed his crotch against her and he orgasmed up against her. Your face.
All right.
So this was pretty recently, and 2016 was, that was during the Trump and Hillary election, so I wonder if, it's just interesting that it's the same timing, you know? Yeah.
But is it...
I'm not saying it didn't happen, but...
Well, I believe it probably happened, but...
At the same time, and it's not to even just to say that they're, maybe the women are just being petty, but at the same time, that's probably really traumatic. Especially if they think Hillary had something to do with covering it up, then right. I can imagine that's really traumatic to see his name all the time.
I don't want to see her as president and have to see Bill Clinton on TV all the time knowing that he did this to me. So I guess, it can be seen in different ways depending on how you interpret it. So
yeah, I will never really understand,
Right.
Never could know. So there's another lady, and then another one, and another one.
Another one. Fucking Bill Clinton, man.
In 1999, Eileen Wellstone, who was a former student at University of Oxford, accused Bill Clinton of raping her in 1969 when they were both students at Oxford.
Huh.
Yeah. Eileen filed a sexual assault complaint with the university at the time, but no charges were brought against Bill Clinton. In 1991, a campaign staffer named Sandra Allen Jones accused Bill Clinton of sexually assaulting her in his hotel room. She claimed that he exposed himself to her and forced her to conduct oral sex on him while they were sitting on the couch. A former professor from the University of Arkansas claimed that Bill Clinton had groped a female student and tried to trap her in his office when he was a professor. This would later be backed up by a piece written by Daniel Harris and Teresa Hampton, which alleged that students at the university confirmed that Bill Clinton had tried to force himself on them when he was a professor.
So he has just a very long track record of being a disgusting man who thinks that he can just touch and fondle and molest and rape women whenever he feels like it.
Right? This sounds so familiar. It's almost like he thinks he can just walk up and grab a woman by the pussy because he's famous. Sorry.
Your face.
This is so familiar, isn't
Crazy.
it? So, I'm not done yet. 1984. Karen Hinton, who served in the Clinton administration under Secretary Andrew Cuomo, told the journalist Michael Isikoff that Bill Clinton had harassed her at a fundraiser in 1984. She claimed that Bill had been staring at her and that he wrote down his hotel room number and then a question mark on a napkin and gave it to her, and she said that made her feel humiliated. These allegations were published in Isikoff's book. It's called Uncovering Clinton.
I feel like I'm a devil's advocate here because, like, I haven't voiced too much, but it's I question people, but then again, you don't want to question people, but he gave
You want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but you're trying to be unbiased, so
right, good. Exactly. So you're telling me that he gave you his hotel room number and you were so humiliated. Why? I don't understand.
I think it's a hard position to be in. I mean, it's like, if he weren't the president, I might just be like, this guy's kind of scummy. You know what I mean? But it's like, because he's the president, I can imagine that it's like, you can't like throw water in his face or something. You know what I mean? It's like, you kind of, and not just that, it was probably like, I don't know. The way I imagine it, it's if she got offended like that and humiliated, he probably did it in front of everybody, and like, I don't know, maybe his wife was there or something, or maybe he didn't, but maybe he just did it in front of everybody, and it's like, everybody knows now that he just picked me to go up to his room with him, you know? Like, I'm some hooker.
Also, side note is that the same Cuomo who was just, like, taken out of his role because he was sexually harassing women?
I think so, but don't...
What was his name?
Andrew Cuomo, I think so.
Yeah.
HUD Secretary Andrew Cuomo.
Former governor of New York.
So yeah, what we were just saying, when in 2016, when Hilary Clinton was Donald Trump's opponent in the presidential election, man, I had a hard time saying that. Okay. In 2016, during the election where Hilary Clinton was running against Donald Trump, a recording came out where Donald Trump basically said how when you're famous, you don't even need to ask a woman. You just can walk up to them and grab them by the pussy. So all of these like sexual misconduct charges against Bill Clinton kind of like resurfaced. Because, of course, everybody who didn't like Trump was talking shit about this, which, I mean, maybe even people who did. I don't know. But then it was like the people who supported Trump were now like, we'll remember Hillary's husband.
Right. Yeah.
And at this time, Juanita Broaddrick, Kathleen Willey, and Paula Jones all reemerged, like, criticizing Hillary Clinton, accusing her of enabling her husband's alleged sexual assault on them.
And what is the basis for thinking that she enabled it? Do you know?
I mean, not for sure.
Unless, I mean, because it's so hard to say because, like, we weren't there and those women were. So maybe they're like, Hillary fucking knew.
How would she not?
What was going on, or maybe she didn't.
Yeah, maybe they know something we don't know.
Right. And with as long as his history is of doing things like this, like, she married him. Like, she knows the nature of her husband. She knows that he could be flirty or sexually advanced.
Yeah.
You know, advanced.
Yeah, she has said some things about how he, you know, had a traumatic childhood, so he, like, kind of has, like a sex addiction or more like a need to, yeah, like a compulsion, kind of. But it's like, oh, hang on a second. I'm about to answer your question right here. So 2 days after the release of that recording, Broderick, Willie, and Jones all appeared as guests at the second 2016 presidential debate and referenced Bill Clinton in pre-debate statements. Broderick's allegations resurfaced early in the campaign, and in various interviews, she stated that Bill Clinton raped her and Hillary Clinton knew about it and tried to threaten Broderick into remaining silent. She said that she started giving some interviews in 2015 because Hillary Clinton had made a statement saying that victims of sexual assault should be believed, and this angered Juanita Broderick.
Hypocrisy.
In November 2017, Bill Clinton was accused of sexually assaulting 4 women in the early 2000s. So, Bill Clinton had been hired by Ron Burkle, who was a Playboy billionaire investor. Clinton helped Burkle generate business, and they flew around the world together with a flock of beautiful young women on Burkle's private jet, which was nicknamed Air Fuck One. The 4 women who have remained anonymous were in low-level positions at the Burkle Company. The women were in their late teens at the time and claimed that they were sexually assaulted by Bill Clinton. In 2018, Bill Clinton was asked if he would have approached the sexual misconduct allegations differently in the wake of the Me Too movement, but he said he would not. When asked if he owed Monica Lewinsky a personal apology, he also said that he did not. Now, Hillary Clinton has remained largely silent on the topic of allegations against Bill. In her 2017 memoir called What Happened, Clinton noted, Donald Trump brought to our second debate 3 women who had accused my husband of bad acts decades ago. She also wrote, there were times that I was deeply unsure about whether our marriage could or should survive. But on those days, I asked myself the questions that mattered most to me. Do I still love him? And can I still be in this marriage without becoming unrecognizable to myself? Twisted by anger, resentment, or remoteness? The answers were always yes, so I kept going. So the thing I wanted to say about Hilary and Monica is, like, it's kind of been, like, asked if, or, like, I think I actually said this in the last episode. Monica was asked if, like, how she feels this affect, or, like, Monica was asked if she ever thought about how this affected Hilary. Did she ever once think about Hilary, you know? And Monica was actually really, like, polite in her way of answering, but it's always kind of been implied that it's because Hilary doesn't like to suck dick. And first of all, it's kind of shitty that we can even have this conversation, but it's like, right. How is it that, like, people can talk shit about Hilary for not sucking dick and at the same time talk shit about Monica for sucking dick?
Right, exactly.
Like, there's legitimately no right way to be a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, doesn't the fact that Bill Clinton wants to go around and find people to suck his dick, doesn't that seem like a Bill Clinton problem?
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't be Monica or Hillary's problem. Like, I mean, like you said, that's between Bill and Hillary's marriage. You know what I mean? But the fact that, like, society has kind of trashed these two, it's just kind of like either slut-shaming or prude-shaming. Like, what the fuck? Like, who cares if they want to suck dick? Like, it doesn't make anything more of you, you know?
Right. And nobody is to say that Hilary isn't like, you know what? Do whatever makes you happy, but at the end of the day, I'm your wife. Or especially in the position that they were. Like, I mean, he was having an affair with a woman who worked at the White House. I mean, if that was any other person, nobody would send him to court. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that says everything about, like, I mean, like Paula Jones being a state employee, she obviously wasn't the first one. Like, Juanita Broderick didn't come forward, you know? And it's like we were saying earlier, like, maybe this was a kind of thing about preying on people who either didn't have the confidence to stand up for themselves or really didn't have a lot of friends or family or somebody to talk to, you know?
Right.
But yeah, anyway, that's all I got. You have anything else to say about this?
No, I think that, well, I mean, in a way, yeah. I think that this is a story about Bill just being a man who is gross and, you know, is,
yeah,
like you said, it's a Bill Clinton issue. And
if it were just Monica, you know, then maybe it wouldn't be such an issue. You know what I mean? But it's like Monica wasn't like, now in hindsight, I don't think anyway that Monica was just his girlfriend. I think Monica was like prey. This was, he knows how to take advantage of young women. He's done this before. Right. He knows how to cover it up. He knows just what to say to keep her on the line.
Yep.
Yeah. So, if it were just Monica, like maybe this wouldn't be such an issue.
Right.
Know? But the pattern, I think, does say everything. The fact that he was doing it while he was a student in college, while he was a professor in college,
right.
While he was fucking governor.
Exactly. Yep. I think that, because for a minute there, I was kind of like, oh, well, maybe he, like, is in love with Monica, but he can't be with her because he's the president, and, or he's trying to be the president, whatever.
Maybe that's just what he wants her to think.
Right, exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, my emotions
he's really
were so high and low.
Smooth.
Yeah. Because there's points where
but that's good. But that's good, because it's like, I think we need to get into Monica's mindset. Yeah. That's what we all forgot about. She's, like, for all we knew before this episode, she was just, like, dumb and slutty. And it's like, well, first of all, the slutty, like, she was passionate, and this was her boyfriend in her mind. You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, at first she was kind of just, like, showing her thong and she was flirting. But it's like, dude, let's not slut shame over things like that, The fact that he was a married man, yes, maybe. But like I said, like, you could call her a homewrecker. But there's...
It was him. It was him. He was in that marriage, not her.
It's like, think about it. Like, yes, in Hilary's perspective, it probably is like, he's hooking up with this 22-year-old who's probably, like, putting her legs behind her head, and, like, wearing a thong and all this, you know what I mean? But, like, when you look at it in Monica's perspective, like, she was just a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, you have to remember what you were like when you were 20, 22, 24, and you were in love. Or you just, like, you got, like, the hots for somebody and you were just, like, a fucking roller coaster of hormones,
right, exactly. Yep.
So, yeah, I think it's important that we look at both sides, because in all reality, none of these women, well, I mean, I don't know if Hilary really did cover anything up, but, the guilty person here is Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is the one who wronged everybody. He's the one who broke the law. He is the one who preyed on people.
Yep.
And he's the one who used his position of power for that. All right, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Thank you for listening.
Don't forget that you guys can always look at a almost complete transcript of this episode, as well as my notes, some photos, some videos, and interviews and stuff like that on brokenlimelight.com. There should be a link to this exact episode in the show notes. You can also get some really cute merch on the website. Another thing, if you guys have been following my Facebook page, you probably saw that I made an announcement that we were going to have a conversation about Leah Thomas. She is the swimmer who has been the subject of conversation lately. I'm not bailing on that, I promise. We are waiting for a friend, a member of the trans community, to take part in it, and I really don't want to do it without him. So please be patient with us, and we will get back to that eventually. By the way, that episode is going to be available for about 48 hours, and then it's going to become a bonus episode. Summer and I are actually starting a subscription program. So again, you should be able to see in the show notes that you can support Broken Limelight for 99 cents a month. That's it. And I will also subscribe you to all of our bonus content.
So make sure you check it out.
Yeah, it's only $1 a month, and it really means a lot to us to see that you guys are supporting us.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so that's everything. Thank you again, Summer, for being a guest, and until next time.
All right. Thank you for listening. Bye, guys.
Bye. Hi.
Are you muted?
Damn it, maybe. Yeah, what's up? I don't know why it mutes it right away.
You're like, yeah, what's up? What up?
Sorry, I keep having little burps. Can you hear them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought there was a guy there. It was like, oh.
No, it's just because I'm so close to the microphone. It's like in my chest. But Monica met with Bill Clinton in the Oval Office. Sorry, I'm high now.
Burp again.
I keep burping, yeah, and I don't know why. I haven't, like, eaten anything.
Oh, that's probably why your stomach's like grasping at air.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Is that the jet that supposedly went to Epstein Island?
No.
Oh. You're killing me.
Bark box, bark box, bark box, bark box. You guys know my dogs, Jude and Eleanor Rigby. Well, we just started getting them bark box, and I'm telling you, your dogs will love you. No more are they angry at the mailman. No more, I say. It's like a box of dog joy that's delivered every month, and each box tells a different story with different themed toys, treats, and photo-worthy props. Typically, what we get in each box is a couple of toys, a couple of treats, and a chew, but you can actually tailor-fit your box to fit your dog's needs. Guys, I'm telling you, your dogs will love you, even more than they already do. So try it out, and if you use my link, you'll get a free extra month of BarkBox, which is a $35 value. So just head to barkbox.com/brokenlimelight and get started on your first BarkBox today. BarkBox, 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 BarkBox. Nailed it, Jude.